So this is gonna be a little bit different of a genre than what I usually talk about on this channel. Today I'm gonna be talking about Call of Duty World War II. I'm sorry for the fact that I do not have any footage of any Call of Duty game. It's because, A, I sold my PS3, B, I'm selling my PS4, and C, Call of Duty on the PC is completely and utterly dead. But right now it is. This might change in the near future, and there still might be some hope for the franchise on PC, because of this release. Just a fair warning too, I'm gonna be doing some over-speculation, just because I can. It's my channel, I don't really care, and it's also my opinion. If you don't like it, you know where the X button is on your tab. Well, I watched the Call of Duty World War II trailer, and it was pretty lackluster, I have to say. They said in the beginning all of it was in-game footage, and they were most likely right, but it was all cinematic cutscenes. There was no actual real physical gameplay that was being implemented into the trailer, so I really can't judge it to its fullest potential, so this is why I have to do some over-speculation. But what I can say is good job, Activision. You actually fucking listened to the community for once. And it only took you 2.5 years' time. You finally implemented boots on the ground, and not like boots on the ground in Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare, where you had these parkour-based maps, but you couldn't use wall running or anything. Hopefully Call of Duty won't be shit and utter, like, garbage on release date, like some of the other Call of Duty games that I've seen before. Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, and hopefully you'll keep up this trend with this new Call of Duty by actually listening and getting feedback from the community for once as a gaming franchise. Now, I like to be opinionated, as usual. When I saw the footage from Normandy and the other battlegrounds of World War II in the trailer, and it looks to me that right now that it's somewhat historically accurate, besides the characters of course, who are completely fictional, but that's perfectly fine with me. But on release date, who knows what Activision and Sledgehammer Games might do to the real timeline of World War II. Now, I am a history fanatic when it comes to World War I, World War II, and the Holocaust. Heck, I even take junior level classes about those three topics combined. So I really hope this new Call of Duty game is historically accurate on release date, or that they have a storyline that somewhat relates to the real timeline of World War II. And I also hope in the multiplayer there won't be any fake maps that have been made up by Sledgehammer, even by release date. I don't want to play on some made-up battleground in a World War II style first-person shooter. What I also hope, they won't have, which is a reoccurring trend in the last two Call of Duty games, are specialists. When I mean specialists, I mean like gravity spikes and shit. I like how EA implemented anti-tank rifles and heavy specialists that randomly spawned around the area and were not overpowered at all. And BF1 stayed almost stellar-like historically accurate with the World War I timeline. World War I did have shoulder-mounted anti-tank rifles, and they were huge. They also had heavy weaponry machine guns, because those two types of weaponry were specifically developed for this war. Even, like, tanks were developed for this war, but they didn't move as fast. Like you see, they didn't have land ships. Tanks moved like 3 kilometers or miles per hour. I can't quite remember. And along with those two weapons, they also had gas grenades and other rifles. It was a war technology. But enough of Battlefield 1, let's talk about good old Call of Duty. What I would think would be pretty funny is if they implemented some sort of A-bomb kill streak that could end a game in multiplayer, like the MOAB from Modern Warfare 3. I would love to see something hectic like that come out, because people would actually be trying for once instead of camping in a corner for the whole entire match. Or the player base could do the exact opposite to get the A-bomb. What do you expect? It's the Call of Duty community. What I hope doesn't happen, which probably will, are that supply drops, weapons, and overpowered weapons will happen in the game. What I mean by supply drop weapons are like the akimbo crossbows that you could get, the assault rifles that you could get, and the different melee variants that you could get in Black Ops 3. And you can even get some like really shitty like Infinite Warfare supply drop variants that break the game. I don't really want to see a pair of boxing gloves in a World War II based game. I'm gonna probably have a brain aneurysm if that happens. And I know the little kiddos want the new weapons to use, but it got so fucking bad in Black Ops 3 which is the game that I mainly played on PS4, that little kiddos would be like, little kids would be camping like in the back of the map and waiting for like me to die so they can get their hands on the newest sword, the newest melee weapon that didn't give like any different statistics. There's just a variant, or the newest like akimbo crossbows. Oh boy. And I'm gonna fucking punch my GPU if I see that in a couple months after release date. Like, for example, they have weapons that add different types of effects to your gun in Infinite Warfare that make them so overpowered. I would probably delete the game if that was ever added to Call of Duty World War II. Now, of course, they probably are going to add supply drops, but I would like to see them like have camos and stuff that you could get from supply drops and different sprays for calling cards. Stuff that doesn't actually break the game, but implements cool creative features to it. But what if they implement something that was created 5 years ago and is still extremely popular today and isn't in the new Call of Duty, and it also requires some sort of skill? If you haven't already guessed what I'm talking about, it's wager matches in Call of Duty Black Ops. I'd like them to implement them in Call of Duty World War II. I don't know how they would implement them, but I would fucking go insane, like balls to the walls crazy, if they implemented wager matches. You see, back when Call of Duty Black Ops 2 came out, I loved the party games, and I didn't know anything about the Call of Duty franchise. All I knew is that I loved Sticks and Stones and Gun Game, and there was nothing else to it. I mostly played those 2 game modes and Hardcore Team Deathmatch. And I was one of those little scrubs who used a target finder and a SWAT 556 and camped in the back of the map sniping people. I'm sorry I was such a retarded person back then. Please forgive me. But later, I discovered Call of Duty Black Ops wager matches, and at that time when I was on the PS3, the community on Black Ops was still pretty vibrant. And when I totally figured out how to work wager matches, I got extremely addicted to them. When I got home from school, when I got off the bus, I immediately thought, I wonder how I can get my COD point score up. And if you don't know what wager match is, you had a variety of game modes where you could earn COD points or lose them all. There were 6 players who matched up together in a party who were all head-to-head against each other. And they had these great game modes like Sticks and Stones, Sharpshooter, One in the Chamber, and Gun Game. And you could earn COD points by playing these games, or you could lose them all. That's what brought that competitive edge to Call of Duty. And it brought this like weird like hardcore style to the game. Like, you see people like hiding in the back of the map sometimes, utilizing the map. They learned all these different types of like places to hide and camp so they could get the highest score without getting bankrupt. It was really fucking cool. And mostly what I'd like to see is they add like an in-game market, not like the now that's a supply drop guy. I'd like Sledgehammer Games to implement some type of in-game market where you could use the COD points that you earned from wager matches and use that to buy like weapons that you could get from the supply drop. But it would be harder to earn them though. I mean, because Sledgehammer Games and Activision doesn't want to skip out on in-game purchases. So this is the approach I think that Sledgehammer Games and Activision should take this year with the new Call of Duty. And if you don't agree with me, I really don't care. I couldn't care the slightest. This is just my opinion. If you have another opinion, that's fine. I might not agree with your opinion. I may agree with it. I may disagree with it. I don't really care. This is just my opinion, my over speculation, and I like to see this in the newest Call of Duty. And I hope they can implement at least one of these features. They probably are going to have supply drops, but I'd really like to see wager matches be re-implemented.